have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world when you hit that play button. So glad you did. Hopefully, you'll be glad you did as we take a deep dive today into life and living and what's showing up for you in your life. You found the Genesis Frequency Podcast, a podcast dedicated to personal, professional, and leadership development. And I am Dr. Cause, in effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina, coming at you to ask you a few questions in this episode. And let's dive right in. You know why? Because we're running out of time. When this show is published, we're nearing the end of the calendar year. But you know what? It doesn't matter when you are listening to this show. It could be first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. It doesn't matter whether it's March, April, June, July, September, October. But if it's a new year approaching, we can use that as a reminder that, hey, we got to give ourselves some deadlines. We got to give ourselves some deadlines to hold ourselves accountable for what we want to show up in our lives. So, my first question to you is, what did you decide? What did you decide that you want to experience in your life? I've been asking this. I really gave you all you regular listeners, even you new listeners, I really gave you so much information that you could use to really get a head start this year. As I record this and this is published, we're looking at the beginning of December here. And back in September, I started talking about, all right, let's start doing this now. Let's start doing the prep work so we don't get to the end of the year and say, oh, wow, where do I start? So you've been given a ton of information. And if you didn't do anything with it, well, I don't know. I don't know what, it's the old, you can lead a horse to water or something like that. But oh my goodness gracious, what do you want? Did you make up your mind? It's time to decide. I guarantee you something. If you don't make a decision, if you don't decide what it is you want, I guarantee you next year at this time, you will be in the same place that you are right now, not experiencing any more of life and living. You'll be just situated, maybe very comfortably in your comfort zone, but I'm telling you, there is no growth there. There is only deterioration there. Really? You want to really take a look at this and take a look at all areas of your life. Some people say, "Hey man, I got a great job, work's going great, career's going great, everything's going great there." But what about the other areas of life we talk about? We talk about six, seven, maybe even more areas of life. I focus in on family and home, finance and career, mental and educational, physical fitness and health, social and cultural growth and experiences, spiritual and ethical, that spiritual side of you. I'm deeply spiritual, share a lot of that with you. How much do you want when it comes to your finances, time and money freedom? Maybe there is more growth in your vocation. Maybe it's time to step out on your own and start that new business and do something with that or grow the one that you already have. What is your purpose? Have you defined that? What is your mission? What is the vision for your life? What brings you joy? And how can you be in service to others by living from your joy? These are all questions you have to ask yourself. What about fun time and recreation? Maybe the career's going good, but maybe you're spending 80, 90, 100 hours a week working on your vocation. And I guarantee if you're doing that, other areas of your life are suffering. What are you doing? What are the goals for fun time and recreation? And the significant relationship in your life, nurturing that or establishing one if you don't have one, or the relationships with friends and family. Where are you with all this? What did you decide? What about your personal ones? What do you want for you? And of course, your legacy. What do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? These are all questions you should have been asking yourself over the last few months. Now, if I'm beating you up here a little bit, but don't beat yourself up if you didn't do this. You still have time. That's why I chose this as a topic today. What did you decide? Because it comes down to a decision. What is the decision you have made regarding the life you would love to live? Don't let this be a podcast with great content, tremendous value, which it is, that you do nothing with, because then it is worthless to you. Push back from the chair, said, yeah, I listened to that today. It was good. But what are you taking from this and applying in your life? It's the application and the action and assimilating into your life the principles, the golden nuggets that you hear here that resonate with you that you can apply right now to get some results in your life. If you don't like what's showing up and you do nothing, you will get more of the same. You are a creature of habit. We all are. We are all creatures of habits. And I'm not talking about just our mannerisms, the way we walk and the way we talk. Yeah, that too. But we have been programmed. We have been programmed since even before we were born. It's come to us through our DNA, through genetics. And when we're infants, it's just poured into us that programming from maybe well-meaning parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters. Just this stuff is poured into us, and we get what you call set in our ways, right? We start establishing habits at a very young age. We start establishing that routine. And some of these things, some of this programming is good, and a lot of it is not so good. A lot of it we never even questioned. You questioned your beliefs. That's all part of us. What did you decide about your beliefs? What do you believe in? Really think about that. Because a lot of the choices, a lot of the thoughts, the words, the actions you take are based on your beliefs. And so many people I talk to have never even questioned that. So you got to look at this programming. You got to look at this habitual behavior, these paradigms. Remember, paradigms are a multitude of habits that have control over our habitual behavior and just about everything we do, all of our behavior, just about all of it is habitual. And that's again in thoughts, habitual thought, habitual words, habitual actions. So, what did you decide for you? That's why I'm telling you, I guarantee you, if you don't do anything, you are going to be in the same place or even a less desirable place next year at this time. And I've seen it and experienced with people over and over and over and over and over again. I've talked to people and they've reached out maybe every couple years. I had one reach out, tell me the same story, about the relationship, about the job, vocation, not working again, about the relationships at home, about the weight gain, things like that. I'm scratching my head. It's like I think I heard this story before, and I looked at my notes, and it was the exact same story, exactly the same as 10 years prior. 10 years had gone by, and this person and most of us do this, so let's just not, just go, "Oh my god, wow, that poor indiv" No, we're all doing it. You're doing it year after year. Same story, and 10 years have gone by. Think about that, a decade. A decade. Have you experienced any growth? What have you achieved? What have you accomplished? What have moved into your life? Are you still dreaming the same dreams and nothing has happened? If that is you, I suggest right now that, just this podcast and the next book that catches your eye, that's not enough. I don't even encourage reading books. We retain hardly anything. I encourage you to study some really good personal, professional, and leadership development books. Study them. Take just a few pages at a time and really study them and make notes and write out those golden nuggets. But I'm telling you, if you are in the same place, if you didn't decide, if you haven't made a decision about the life you would love to live, stop right now and write this down, successappointment.com. You need to get on the phone with me now because you can't see past your own programming. You can't see some of that habitual behavior that you're caught up in. A lot of people don't know. We call this the knowing doing gap. They know better, but they don't do better. They don't recognize, they have not been able to identify the habitual behavior, the paradigms, the programming that is in charge of their behavior. You need to work with someone often. There's things that we can do to identify it. And then once we identify what those habits are, it's not enough just to have identified them. We have to go about the work of changing those habits that are producing the same results over and over and over again. We have to go about those in a very intentional and deliberate way. And we have to work on those one at a time because just because we've identified, yeah, I got this one habit that's really affecting my productivity and my priorities and my time management and all that, and this is the habit that I need to work on. That's great. We identified it. But going to work on the result is not going to do it. You have to start. The equation's always the same. You hear it all the time. Thoughts plus feelings plus actions equals results. You have to go to work on the thought. You have to you have to remove the old programming. And there's a very specific way to do this. You have to create new programming. You have to move new programming in. And there's a very specific, certain way to do this. So reach out, successappointment.com. That's not a sales page. It's not trying to get you to buy something. That's my calendar, successappointment.com. Grab a spot now, this time of year that fills up fast. Grab a spot. Let's have a conversation. Stop making excuses. That's one of the habits everybody gets into. I see all the time, making excuses. Why didn't you reach out and call me last year? Why didn't you reach out and make an appointment last year? Well, I was busy with this. Excuses. How about taking responsibility for what's showing up in your life? And this is for you as an individual, all these things. It starts with personal development. So I talk about the individual first, then I talk about the small business owner in business for yourself, the entrepreneur perhaps, or anywhere on the corporate team, whether you're frontline or whether you're C-suite executive. We're all wired the same. We have different beliefs, we have different habits. Yes, that shows up as different results. But if you look at this total person concept, if you look at this wheel of life, I don't care if you're an individual, a C-suite executive, or you're the CEO, whatever it is, you have areas of your life that I guarantee you can use some improvement, that you could really stand to sit down and do some goal setting and some big dream mastermind sessions with yourself around family and home, finance and career, mental and educational, health and physical fitness, social and cultural, spiritual and ethical, your legacy, what you want for your all of that. All of that. You have to sit down and identify, where do I want to go here? Why why aren't you there yet? If you think you got it all figured out, why don't you have it yet? Why aren't you there yet? And maybe you are a overachiever that has every single area of your life just right where you want to be. But you still want to question, is there more growth to be had here? Is there something more beyond this? whatever it is you want to experience in your life, if you are willing and able, and even if you're not willing, you can, you know, if you're not, well, let me rephrase that. If you're willing and able, that's what you need. If you're willing and able, you can be, do, and have anything you want in any of these areas, as long as it doesn't bring any harm to anyone else and it involves your own personal and professional growth. You can have it. You can be, do, and have it. You have to be willing and able. You don't have to know how, right? And what I was starting to say is, even if you don't believe it is true for you, or if you don't believe that statement is true for you, I encourage you to reach out because you can borrow my belief in you. You can borrow my belief in you till you have that belief in yourself because I believe in your infinite potential because we all have infinite potential to be, do, and have more, to become more, to grow in every single area of our lives that I just talked about. And whether it's tangible or intangible, we can set goals and we can achieve those goals. And usually, it works best when you're working with someone, someone like myself that has been doing this work for a long, long time, that's schooled and trained in helping individuals do this. And and I really encourage you to do this. I guarantee whatever it is, I guarantee you can experience it in your life. I guarantee you, if you put in the work and if you're willing and able, you can be, do, and have whatever it is you want. And no dream is too big. And the problem most people do is they set real small dreams. I mean, they have a wish, or they think, oh, that would be nice, and then they don't do anything about it. But you want to start thinking about every single area of your life and what is it that excites you and scares you at the same time, but you would love to experience that. If you haven't done this work already, you got to get started on it right now. And I'm telling you, the year ahead can be the most amazing year you have ever experienced. More growth in every area of your life if you sit down and do this work. And where do we do this work? Well, we do it in consciousness. We're starting this whole process by going within, by getting quiet, by shutting off the world around us, by going in our room, closing the door, going to that secret place. Where is that secret place? It's within us, right? Let's put things in order. Let's make this a priority. Prioritizing your day is part of order, right? Heaven, heaven's first law is order. As it is within, so it will become without. And this is what we talk about when we're talking about harmony. I've shared a lot from the Master Key System by Charles Hannell. He says harmony in the world within means the ability to control our thoughts and to determine for ourselves how any experience is to affect us. So, this is really telling us, hey, let's get things together on the inside because stuff's going to happen on the outside, right? Stuff happens to use a nice appropriate word here for the podcast. Stuff happens, life happens. But we're not living life from the outside in. We're living life, our lives, your life from the inside out. So let's get it in order. Let's take out a pen and some paper, not on the computer. Pen and paper, writing causes thinking. Thinking will help you to assimilate and to apply and maybe take some action in your life, right? That's what I'm trying to inspire you to do here through this podcast today. And let's take a look at all these areas again. Finances, how much? How much when it comes to time and money freedom? What is your goal there? What is the big dream goal there? Whatever it is, you can have whatever it is you want. What you have to bring to the table is being willing and able to do what it takes to get there, to be willing to stretch, to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. And that's what it comes down to. Being creatures of habit and not wanting to change those habits, not even wanting to identify those habits, keeps most people stuck there. And you know what most people do, and you see it all the time, we see it all the time. They're sitting on that couch in their comfort zone, just pointing their fingers at everybody else. Oh, look at that rich person. That person must be really, really greedy. They don't know anything about them, right? The highest form of ignorance is criticizing something you know nothing about. And I think that was said by Wayne Dyer. But it's so true. And these people that don't have the have-nots are pointing their fingers at the have, somebody that did the things that were necessary to become successful in their lives. And again, I work with individuals, small business owners, and as a Leadership Management International franchisee now, adding that to the mix, along with over 100 different training programs and personal growth programs. I'm telling you, I see this stuff all the time, and I know that you can make movement. You know you can do this, whether you're working on something for you individually in your small business or in your corporate environment. I encourage you to reach out. And if you want to step into the wonderful world of entrepreneurship, I have, an opportunity for you to do that. If income, a change in income is one of your goals, and you want to just really take that over the top, let's have a conversation. I have a few positions that I'm looking to fill, but they're entrepreneurial positions. And that's something that you have to have a special attitude, a special consciousness around, and you can move into a very, very lucrative position as your own as your own boss, as generating income for yourself. So we can have conversations about that. But we're running out of time for today, and I really encourage you to reach out, successappointment.com, and let's take a look at your habits. Let's take a look at what you want to have. Let's take a look at where you're stuck. Because if you haven't done any of these things that I talked about and shared about today, boy, you got to get with it. You're running out of time. If you want to experience a brand new year, a brand new life, if you want to experience success and you want to move into the realization of your goals and everything you wish to be, do, and have in your life, the time is now. It's not time to wait till the clock is about to strike midnight and you're with some friends, half in the bag, writing what you're going to do next year on a bar napkin. That's not the way to go about this. There is a certain way to do this. Love to be your guide on the side and help you through this whole process. Love to work with you in your corporation, in your small business, or with you as an individual. Reach out. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's possible. Best to start with you within with decisions. What did you decide? What is it you want? Let's start there and let's talk about it. Successappointment.com. That's it. That's going to do it for today. Hey, I want to thank you for listening to this show. We're going to keep hammering it so I can help as many people as I can live the life they would love to live. You can do this. You can be, do, and have it all. We got to overcome those paradigms. We got to overcome the habitual behavior. You got to be willing and able to come out of your comfort zone. That's what it's going to take. Face whatever it is that's holding you back. And maybe you don't know. Maybe you just keep getting so far and then you keep falling over or stumbling a little bit. Reach out, successappointment.com. Let's have a conversation. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency and Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina. That's me. And I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.